So you clicked on this video because you want to get into parawinging. Here's what I found out in my first couple of weeks. Welcome to Matt on Foil. As I didn't want to spend $1,000 for a parawing, I thought I'd buy a cheap one and modify it. And it took me some evenings to switch the lines, the bridles, from the sideways to the front and back. And I actually managed to put it on the bar, but the lines were too thin, so I had to change all of them and even cut some holes so the water would escape. But once I wanted to take it to the water, the knots were not tight enough, the lines were not good. So even on the first try on land, it started to get away. So I asked Michi Neff of Roham if I could test the Enz's Roger, and here is my first time. He said that first I should go on the beach and test it there, so that's what I did. I just threw it out, and it was quite easy to get the hang of it. I used to kite surf a little bit, not too good. I used to be a sailor, so I know how the wind works, so I walked up and down the beach, which was pretty easy, I thought. The wind there was like 25 to 35 knots, so pretty gusty. Here I tried to take it in, and I realized that, that handling is not that easy. When I let it go again, you see it was all twirled up, so changing that was difficult as well. And then I realized how to hold the bar, because as soon as you hold it in the front, it actually rises and accelerates. You see here how I hold the bar, and here as I move the bar towards the wind, it gets to the front, and that's super important. You don't have to hold the parawing or the bar in the center, depending on how the bridles are fit to the bar. But here with the Enz's Roger, you hold it in the front third of the bar. You can pull the lower end of the bar and it gets down, and redeploy, just throw it out. And here I tried this leash middle line, that also works. You can see it here. So the parawing just implodes and gets out easily. I highly suggest doing training on land, as you can really feel when it pulls you, how to maneuver it. That's super important. I also thought that it might be easier if I run a little bit towards the leeward to have a little less pressure, because when you're on foil going downwind, then you have less wind, obviously. But then I realized that it's not that easy, especially if you try to put it away, stow it away, then it gets tangled pretty quickly. And even standing on the beach, it was super difficult to turn it around the right way. I thought that you could easily just pull it and it would sort itself out, but it's not as simple as I thought. So I highly suggest that taking half an hour or even an hour on the beach to get used to it. But I'm a super nervous guy. I want to get on the water as soon as possible, and that's actually what I did. So even though it was quite strong winds, I took everything. I have a big board, 7.6 board, 112 liters. I took the biggest foil I have, just because I wanted to get on foil. And just before going out, I wanted to redeploy the parawing just to see that it's good. And obviously it wasn't. So me being on the leash already, kind of being pulled towards the board, I was scared that the board would fall and the foil would hit the concrete, but the parawing was pulling me and it was not right. So that was a little bit of a pain. There again, taking it in and redeploying it is super important. But even though you can do it 9 times, 1 out of 10 times, you will not manage to do that. So I went on the water, and as you can see, just before I had the parawing set up perfectly, and I threw it out, and as soon as the wind hit, it was not good again, because the front, the leading edge, was pointed down. But as soon as you have wind in your parawing, you can actually get on your board, especially if you have a big one as I have, and I suggest you take a big enough board so you don't have to focus on balance too much and can just focus on the parawing. I went out on the knee, and after a couple of maybe 100 meters, I got on foot and tried to taxi a little bit, but soon after I wanted to get on foil, so a few pumps with my feet and I was off flying. As soon as you're on a foil, you have much better control. So even if it was my first time, I took it in quite quickly and tried to surf the waves, which worked for maybe 20, 30 meters. Thanks Michi for coming on and filming me a bit. Here you can see it really pulls a lot, and once you're on foil, you have the control. Reading the waves though, that's a whole other thing. So when I lost the wave, I thought, all right, now I can redeploy my parawing, but that was too late and I was too slow and it pulled me. Then I had winter vacation and I took the parawing with me because I wanted to still continue learning to handle it. And here you have my son just trying to hold in the front and it accelerates. That worked. I took it out with the skis as well, and when I went down the hill, I actually pulled it behind me, and it was just to feel the handling. So the more you use the parawing in different situations, the better you can handle it on water later on. And as you're going downhill fast here, it simulated some wind, so that actually worked quite well. I also tried it a little later on my skateboard because it's easier, but yeah. Redeploying the parawing sometimes works, then it doesn't work again. So really how to take it in, it's super important. Then I started to change and take the parawing in from the front lines, and it worked a little bit better. What I think is important that you always have tension on the lines when take it in. If not, it can get tangled. I use it in different winds, different situations, and just practicing, and it got better over time, but even now, I still don't manage to do it. Of course, filming at the same time doesn't help either. You can see here how I'm holding the bar pretty much to the front so that parawing can accelerate and pulls you forward. Then I tried using the parawing on my pump foil, which was pretty hard. One, because once I deployed it, I was already tired from pumping, and I need to learn another start to do that. So once that didn't work out that well, I changed on the skateboard, which is always cool with the family because they're there as well and they can ride that parawing with you. So I highly suggest to take that parawing wherever you go, because you never know when you get some time and can actually work on your parawing handling skills, which is always important. Then a couple of days or weeks later, I don't even remember, I went back on the water. First I wanted to go with the paddle, but then I thought, no, the parawing pulled me up so nicely, so let's do that. And even though I had my parawing ready when I went, again, it was a hassle because the lines were twirled up. It was in front of the board, but as soon as you have it flying and you hold it up, it really pulls you forward and is super easy then. So I went out behind the port. It was quite gusty, but then as soon as you feel yourself getting pulled, you can use your legs and do that pumping motion. I didn't pull too much on the parawing because it was like maybe 15-ish knots, so not too strong a winds. But if you have yourself pulled by the parawing, use your legs and then you will get on foil. As soon as you're up, again, pretty solid, pretty stable, and you can focus on everything else. I tried to use as little pressure as possible. I didn't want the parawing to pull me off the board or be dependent on how much it pulls. So I really focused on standing straight and just use the parawing as a help. Now the camera obviously was in the way a little bit. I tried to take it in sometimes, so I always had to switch the hand. Before doing that, I rode a little one-handed, which was really no problem. Once you're set and go and it's not too much wind, like I said, maybe 15 knots, then it's easy. So I went down a wave, took the parawing by the front, didn't have pressure on the lines. So you can see when I pump, they swirl around, they get tangled, so that really doesn't help. Once you're in the water, because believe me, you will, I usually put the parawing in the air and then start from there. Because if you have it in the water, then you might be faster on your board and run into the parawing. So really put your parawing in the air before getting on the board, especially if you have a big board like that. So that really helps. Something that I always try, and I would say that's a tip that maybe you can use, try to stand your ground. Try to stay on your board, try to pump that board and not have you pulled or pushed around by the waves. So it's really important that you're the active part and not the waves or the wind around you. And then just practice. Take the parawing in as much as possible. As soon as you have it in, ride some waves. But before you are too slow, redeploy it. It's really important that you still have speed on foil when deploying it, because it can happen that you're have it tangled up, it doesn't work, something is weird, not the way it should be, and when you're stalling, you're gonna fall. If you still have speed, you have as much time as you need to redeploy that parawing. So it's really important to do that before you stop, basically. So here I tried to doing it the other way around, try to kind of jibe or redeploy the parawing on the toe side, which was a weird feeling. Sometimes I managed it, and here's the first time me trying to take it in, and here's a balance thing. So there again, it's different if you do it heel side or toe side, but I would suggest you do it both sides because it's important that you practice both sides. Speed is key when redeploying. If you have speed like here and the parawing looks the wrong side, you just wait a little and it will turn eventually. So keep that speed on and then it will work. And then here I tried to redeploy it one-handed because I was holding the camera and I was too slow, so that's why I came down. But once you're in control, you just pump a little bit with your legs and you're back up. Then I wanted to try some jibes, and it's actually the same thing. You just take your speed, hold the parawing up, and it will follow you if you point the leading edge of the bar towards the new side, then it will just go around. So that's actually quite easy. Even if there's not a lot of wind, maybe go down a wave to keep your speed on foil, and it will just turn around like magic. Don't make too tight carves though, as you might lose balance. Now, I'm not the best teacher, not at all. I'm not the best parawinger either, as you can see, but I've made some mistake. I learned a few things. So if some of these things are helpful for you, then I'm happy. I'm eager to learn how you've enjoyed your journey, what your learnings were. Please write them down in the comments. That would be super helpful. If you want to see my journey into downwinding, there's a video right here where you can watch me compare paddle winging and parawinging to get into downwinding. And if you made it so far into the video, thank you very much. Be sure to subscribe because that helps me out a lot. If not, give it a like, share it with your parawinging friends, and see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.